So many days we are reading about Kirtan. Smarana, remembrance. So, the glory of remembering God all the time. And now, Vaishnava tradition teaches the Padusevana, means service to deity mainly. And deity is expanded from deity to also God's children. This is extended by others, but Orthodox Vaishnavas will do more for the deity. Deity is when it is made congregational, what you call consecrated.
Yes.
When it is consecrated, divine entity consecrated. So consecrated deity and the service to the deity. That's why the Hare Krishna temple near your home, see how they day and night engage in service to the deity. The service, this is the morning service, and then breakfast, bathing, putting clothing, one clothing for the morning, another for the noon, another.
Huge closet for the clothes.
One
Huge closet. I remember seeing it years ago. Unbelievable.
They're beautiful.
Yeah, once I was there when I first came, and they said that at the evening night worship for Krishna Janmashtami that night, and they are celebrating, and they are asking that Radha Krishna now will not open unless we raise $10,000 for the clothings of Krishna. Whole year, his clothing cost is $10,000. So new clothing are necessary. So, and people started pledging 1,000, 2,000, 500 like that, and then say we have come up to 5,000 or 7,000. No, so the Krishna cannot have no vision possible unless you raise up to 10. And then again they continue. When 10 was over, then the deity opened, have the darshan. Anyhow, that is seva. Seva is service. That's why Swamiji sometimes said it is good for your devotional practice individually, but it is more seva is necessary for the people who are in need, God in those people. So here Pada Seva or divine service, introduction, it says this is the 7th section, which deals with Pada Seva, which is the 4th of the 9 devotional disciplines. What are the 9 devotional disciplines? You remember? Shravanam, Kirtanam. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam. Vishnu Smaranam. Shravanam is the listening about the glories of God. Kirtanam, singing and dancing in congregation. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam. Memory. Remembering him. And then, which is last chapter we read, four are what? Shravanam, tapre Smaranam. Shravanam, Smaranam, Kirtanam. This is the 4th. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Paduseva.
Then Archanam, Vandanam.
Archanam, Vandanam, ভার্সটা গেল কোথায়? এই যে, there are, first is in the generation, on the page 74, we have read that by living in intimate contact with holy men and hearing their discourses on the Lord's excellence, man develops what? First. No, it is on the page 75. The hearing the narration of the glorious actions of the excellence of Vishnu, that is the first one, Sravanam. Then chanting of his name and reciting hymns in his praise. On the page 75, you can find 75 bottom. Hearing narratives of the glorious actions and excellences of Vishnu, that is one, hearing. Two is chanting his name and reciting hymns in praise of him. Two. Third is remembering him continuously. And fourth is serving him. This serving him is the Padasavana. Then five will be worshipping him. And six will be paying obeisance to him. Practice is the sense of servitude. Dasa, I am his servant. He is the master. And the briefing, eighth will be befriending him. And last will be total surrender. This is the ninefold. Page 75. Now, this is the fourth of the practices. Here, the word literally means serving, normally means shampooing the feet, washing the feet, cleaning the feet, wiping out with a towel like that. That is the simple sense. But he has explained further. Personal service of this type in a literal sense can be done by one to one's revered teacher, men, or in sadhus, holy people, or to their teacher. Men in general can practice it in a symbolic way to the service of a consecrated image, not any image where the life is invoked. That's consecrated. Like Mother Durga, Kali, image is already almost ready, but that is not worship. When life will be invoked, then will be Mother's appearance will happen. So invoked images, where life is invoked. And where regular puja goes, their life is invoked. Regular service. Because once it is invoked, no Nita's place. Life is invoked once. That's why they do that's why they say, oh, how can we not feed him today? We have to feed every day puja, everyday service is necessary. Like a living deity. So this is through the service of a consecrated image, which is identified with the Lord through faith. It is nothing, it is the image. But one identifies it with God with faith. They believe that yes, He is present here. And in our everyday puja we do. Living. That's why they wake him up as if he's sitting. Now he's going to bed. Now we are waking him. Now we are wiping, giving a bath, and all this, like as human being behaves themselves, but a honorable, respected guest of honor, or you can say the deity of honor. So feeding that with a get faith according to the devotional philosophy. It is not others, but the devotional philosophy subscribes this idea. It will thus be seen that this discipline and also the two that follows, those of making offering and prostration, having a special significance to the people who practice worship of God through consecrated images. Consecrated images and their service is a very special thing for the devotees. Others have no value in it. They will think that it's an idol worship. That's why people say idol. But it is not idol.
Love them, they're we're a little above that. I have images, and I love them. And I do Ganga Pushpam, Deepam, Dupam, and I bow and I say my meditation in front of them, and I keep them clinging, and
Yeah. That means
but
you
they're not consecrated. But
not consecrated. Your love has consecrated it. Otherwise,
thank you.
Yeah, that is the thing. What else consecrates?
Yes.
When you have the faith and love in anything, you consecrate your deity there.
And years I've been doing my little vespers.
So you feel that they are there. Otherwise, why are you putting flower, dhupa? Why are you worshipping with the incense? We don't go to worship this chair. So where you feel that is adorable deity is my deity, so it is invoked by faith. Those making offering and prostrations, this are next to it. All these three things. That means this padaseva, this washing the feet, and then offering, giving some offering, and then salutation, which will be another two, next two. This is a third, fourth practice, fifth and sixth. This 4, 5, 6. These three practices in this Vaishnava tradition, it is said that they are this in the Bhakti tradition. They with their faith, they feel that the God is invoked here and God is present here. That's why they wash His feet. That's why they offer flower at the feet and feel this and also salute. Why you salute? Salute means you feel that there is somebody. It is not in the air you are saluting. Everyone does. Whenever they do to somebody or some existence where they have the faith and reverence. It should be noted that image worship is one of the most effective disciplines in the cultivation of devotion. Devotional path, it is very important. They should have a divine image. It is not only a means of concentration, as widely believed. That's one point. Yes, the deity is there, you can focus your mind there. That's why it is suggested that when we cannot concentrate, closing eyes, our teachers suggest that open the eye and check and see. Open your eyes and check it. So closing your eyes if mind does not get into it. So open your eyes. That means it is seeing the beauty of the divine and feeling the living presence, then the generation of devotion. It is not only a means of concentration, but is also a means to gain sense of the concreteness, concreteness of God, and of having actually served and worshipped. A concrete presence, tangible, tangible presence, concrete presence. Serving the feet of the Lord, this is the word feet in whole devotional philosophy, they talk about feet, can also be wider significance. In Purusha Sukta, Purusha Evedagam Sarvam, that verse in the Upanishad, Purusha Sukta, it speaks of the four pathas of the Lord. Eito. Aha. You are late.
I was cooking again.
I know.
Cooking dinner tonight.
Oh, Baba.
It's going to be good.
You will begin?
Hmm?
Already began.
Yeah, cooking started.
Oh, you started there.
Yeah. I think it's pretty ready. I cooked at home, but I dropped it off and put everything away, so we're all set.
You put in the heating.
Yeah.
Okay,
What page are we on?
We are on 213.
Okay.
New chapter.
Great.
Second paragraph.
Great, thank you.
So the Purusha Sukta speaks of the four pathas of Lord, of which one alone is the manifestation as the world, the whole world. All the world is God's one feet. Pada means aspect. Here the translation aspect. And the service of the world, which is the manifestation of him, becomes his service. You serve the world, then you serve God. You serve the children, then you serve the parents. If you serve the child, you serve actually mom. Mom becomes happy. If you serve her children, then so God will be happy if you serve God's children. Becomes his service. When done with correct devotional attitude, that is the point, with the attitude of a devotion. Correct attitude should be there. That is, God is tangibly present here, God is there, and not only that, God is also in all the living beings I am serving. It can be extended that way, from deity to the God's creation. And then it will extend to the animal. Then it will extend to the plants, that extension, and to everything. This love extends, first concentrated in the deity, and then extending to his children, and extending to the plants and animals, to plants and other entities. When done with correct devotional, when we personalize the deity and conceive of ourselves as his humble votaries, the Lord's feet gain a special significance to us. This is the question. If we have the sense of personalizing the deity, God everywhere, but for me, Lord is seated in this, my altar, and he is waiting for me. I must have to go. As you feel that you have a pet dog, or your friend, or your husband, oh, I have to go and cook. He is waiting. He cannot eat. So similarly, devotees feel that the Lord is waiting for me, and if I don't go, who will serve him? Who will give food to him? Who will give water, drinking water? Who will put him to bed? As if he is reliant on you in every devotional aspect, concrete presence of God in the deity. So deity does not become a deity, but you invoke the deity in that form. If we do all our work in a spirit of dedication to him, we can speak of offering all our actions at the feet of the Lord. When we surrender ourselves to him, we can speak surrendering ourselves at his feet. That means his feet is the question, means humble, humility, putting mind head down with respect. Another explanation will be why feet, meaning with humility, with honor and dignity to the object. You can serve anyone in so many ways, but you are doing with love, dignity, respect. So you are humble. That's why head down. So surrounding ourselves at his, so service of his feet, the court, can mean in a wider sense any act of dedication we do in his name, that can be called a service. It starts in the temple, but as one should grow in devotion, it should extend. That's a Vedantic explanation he is bringing. But Vaishnava devotees focus only on the deity, only in the temple, in the altar. So they are very concerned about. That's why they say Vaishnava Seva Aparadha. Aparadha means your failures in performing the service properly. Yeah, if you have to serve some very honorable guest, you should see what he likes. That's why we prepare food. Oh, what you like. Yeah? That means if you think that you are feeding Krishna, then you should prepare the things he liked. If you give him meat, normally Krishna is not given, but our Krishna gets everything. Our Ramakrishna, he can manage. But old Krishna, unto the devotees, don't give, oh my God, no meat. No, it is only milk product and sweets and ladu, butter, ghee. That is it. So you give because you worship him, so you should give that. If someone brings you lovingly something, what they will bring. What you like, then you release. Suppose someone brings you which you never touch it. So if it gives, you will not be able to eat. Then you will fast. Though food is given, Purnama cannot take other food. So because of her health. So if someone brings lovingly, I love you and brought bread for you. And what she cannot take, what will happen? She will have to fast. Because she was waiting for the food you will bring and give. And then ultimately it happened that you brought such a food that you eat. And also you are giving the food in such a way with disrespect. You give food, but who cares for? You're not like that food. No. So this is the one with this devotion, with the things he likes or whatever I'm doing, the way I want to do. Not to, some people do service. It is not service, it's a torture. Because he who is serving, he imposes his own ideas on the person who is offering. That at the cost of the health of that person, at the cost of the mood of that person, you destroy that mood and thing, and you think that you are serving him. It is not service. This is called, it's a negative impact creating out of your service. It's creating anger in the person whom you are serving. Dissatisfaction.
Yeah, I have an example of that. My mom was working on Thanksgiving dinner, but she wanted to please everybody, right? Well, my stepsister can't have anything with cow products. She's allergic to cow. No butter, no milk, no cheese. And then I can't have anything with soy. And then somebody else is gluten-free. And someone else is lactose intolerant. Someone else is this. And my mom just said, it's impossible. Everybody bring your own dinner. So that's what we do now, because it's too complicated.
Too complicated for one person.
But she tried. You know, she had the right.
But when we are worshipping, suppose that's why in our worship time, you want to Mother Kali, give red flower, red hibiscus. You want to worship Mother Saraswati, don't give red to her. She likes white. White flower. That's why Mother Saraswati, everything is white. White cloth Mother wears white cloth.
And the
Swan. That's also white.
Yeah. She's young, she's youthful.
And that's why she's whatever the way, if you want to worship, but you give something which is not suited to her temperament. So your service is not service. You are invoked that deity and you are keeping him or her fasting.
Right.
Because you are giving something which she cannot take.
So it's more thinking about the other person more than you're thinking about yourself.
Yes.
Being thoughtful.
Yeah. And when you are worshipping, that's why we do worship the way the food we give for Mother Kali's food. Mother Kali can eat goat. We give goat meat during Kali Puja. One lady is giving how many years goat? She has a goatary. Goatary.
Her husband kills it.
I was going to say, where the heck do you find
But
goats?
it's over now. She doesn't have it anymore.
No, I was goat. She has goatary.
Wow.
And she sells the goat in her whole business, but she is a Swami Purvananda's disciple or Swami Sarvadevananda Maharaj's disciple. She used to give maybe years and years. They dress them everything and they bring it like a meat shop. You go and get it like that, and then it is cooked that way and offer it to Ma Kali. We don't offer wine, but Mother Kali we can offer wine. Because she has to kill the demon to drink some wine to be little bit in the Rajasa mood. But you cannot give it to Saraswati. You cannot give to Mother Lakshmi. They don't like it. So that's why this service is a service. The full fit means here this attitude of service with honor, respect, and likings of the deity.
Yeah, I can't remember if you told me before, but is there a list somewhere or a book somewhere that talks about all of this? Because it's very interesting.
All the gods, so those who do the worship, they know what flower is to be offered.
Yeah.
Suppose you worship all the gods and goddesses, you want to worship Guru, then you give white flower. Ganesha, red. red,
So where do you find this
yellow.
information? Where do you find this information?
Information in the puja worship book description.
Oh, there's a puja book. Okay.
Not in ordinary simpler books, but you go a little elaborate books
The
there.
old timers. Just talk to the old timers.
Yeah, write it all down.
Because they always know what to do, what to give. But sometimes we don't get flower, that's why we offer, that's a different thing. But mostly they vary between white, yellow and red. These three categories. And also food also. As I say, Krishna will like milk products. And say even we do Swami Brahmananda Puja, we give a special tea offering. Chai.
Nice.
And everybody wears purple.
Really? You like purple, huh? That's so fun.
He was royal.
When is that?
That's why.
Brahmananda Puja.
But what time?
Oh, it will come. In the list is there. It will be after Swami Vivekananda's birthday, January. In the January or January to February, 7-8 days difference. But we are observing one day, two birthdays in one day.
Okay.
So one Sunday.
This time, no, Swami, this time we're going to two pujas.
Oh,
no?
two pujas, I
I
don't
think so
know.
this time. We did try it at one time, and now they went back to puja for each one, Vivekananda and Brahmananda, according to the schedule which I got from the bookstore. Yeah.
So service of his feet can mean, in a wider sense, any act of dedication we do in his name. In a still wider sense, it can mean service in general, including service of his devotees and his immanent presence in all beings. This is the higher type of feeling about service to God. Not in the deity only, but it is better to understand Pada Seva in this wider sense than as mere shampooing of the feet of the Guru. They say Swami Vivekananda suggested to do service this way, not in the temple. Swamiji criticized. Here millions of people are in hunger and have no food, and now we are worshipping in the deity, and this deity is being fed this, deity is going to bed, deity needs this clothing. So many hungry people, the homeless people, without food, without clothing, go and serve them. God will see pushed this into this greater dimension of service. It better than as mere shampooing of the feet of the Guru or holy man, as is generally understood in devotional circles. Devotional discipline is thereby given a wider spatial implication and is freed from the criticism that it makes man purely otherworldly. So this devotion, when extended this way, it makes the devotee a very sensible person, seeing God in the divine deity, as also seeing God the same in the children where he is there. Besides, involvement in the good of the neighbor is the best safeguard against man developing self-centeredness in his pursuit of mere individual salvation. Now, India did. Sadhus were there, monasteries were there, where people used to do meditation and practice for their own salvation. But this Ramakrishna order has been set for your own salvation, for the welfare of the world. You cannot only expect yourself. And if you really develop spirituality, you will be soft, you will be feeling for others, natural. If your self-centeredness goes away, then it will expand. So that will be the natural thing. And not only seeking for yourself. I mean, people spend their whole life only in Himalayas or something. Good, nothing bad. But if that's time which you give for your procuring food, going for bhiksha and doing austerity and feeling this, that, do that austerity in serving others. That's Ramakrishna mission. You do, had we been monks, like traditional monks, we'd have to go door to door beg food, no? And then you have to certainly make an attempt to have your own food. 365 days all through your life. You cannot just say that, oh, I'll be sitting here. Unless you're a highly spiritual person, God will bring food to you. Yes, but for general millions of sadhus, they had to get for food, and you are spending time, you are walking miles to get the food. We used to go. I once told you probably that we went once. I went to Rishikesh, Uttarkashi. I thought I would live like a monk. So when I come out of Belur, and then our sadhus, many sadhus do that experience. So you go, but you have no food, you have to eat, and then where will you go? Your breakfast. Who will give you breakfast? No breakfast. You have to wait. There is a lunch time. You know where we can get food. Sadhus are fed. So you go to that place. It is called Shatra, or a serving center. Some rich Marwari people. Bhandara is a feast. But normal, every day, for monks only. So they have their different places, and these rich people, generous people, they give the money and open the center and cook and servant. So they cook for maybe 100 people every day. The chapati, spinach, little dal. So that one meal. But you have to walk 2 miles from the place in the Himalaya, up and down. By that time you get more hungry. Or more. Acha. And they will give 4 pieces of limited, 4 pieces of chapati. And they're not big and some. Anyhow, then little dal and little spinach. So you have to walk that much distance, come back that much distance, and you do. And then breakfast. What is breakfast? No breakfast. You divide this 4 piece, keep maybe 2 piece for your lunch, half piece for your afternoon, night maybe 1 piece. Manage with the 4. And then you feel hungry. After some time, we thought, oh my God, I'm hungry. So where to go? And inquire, where is another place? Huh? Wow. So we had to walk. We found another place in the evening, afternoon. They give 2 pieces of chapati and little dal like that. So we went for 2 pieces and walked maybe 1 mile in the Himalaya, up and down Himalaya. So for you are spending this energy for procuring your food, why not you do the same energy for the service of others? And the society will give you little your food and necessities, as is done now. So this is the idea Swamiji identified, not thinking of your own self-centeredness, think of others also, and you give little more time. Maybe you can get it 2-3 hours you can save by that way, but you give little more time for the service of others, along with your own spiritual practice. You do your meditation. No one is stopping you. Being a monk, no one says that you don't meditate. Being a monk or nun does not say, oh, you don't read scripture. No, you do your thing. Plus rest of the time, how can you serve God in others? So Shiva Jnana Jiva Shiva. This is the philosophy of this order given. So besides involvement in the good of neighbor is the best safeguard against man developing self-centeredness in his pursuit of moral individual salvation. Actually, it happened that people get self-centered, who live for alone, only for thinking of himself, his liberation, his thing, finished, and he does not have to take care of anything else. But when you do extend your philosophy like this, then you feel for others. Do any service you can do. The Swamiji said, if you can create a little smile in anyone's face, well, that is your service, and that's enough. You cannot cover hundreds of people, thousands of people. So that type of attitude, if one takes, really genuine attitude like that, and does service, is much better service of God than only thinking of myself and my meditation, my prayer, my thing. But those who really do my meditation, my prayer, genuine, their heart opens up. They cannot be self-centered. And thinking of God the divine, which is the God himself, So how one can be very limited in their feelings and emotions?
That's the best way to keep even the bad spirits away. Is by prayer and thinking of God constantly. Because I believe in spirits, and they can try to control you with
subtle bodies.
Subtle bodies, yes. But they're helpless if you're attached to God, praying.
No, that means what you can do for anyone with your limited capacity, whatever you could is, if you are genuine, it opens up the heart. Swamiji's idea, self becomes smallest, become biggest. Individual uh, personality expands into cosmic personality. For self-centeredness is the opposite of spirituality. We have added 4 verses to the original text to make the selection more comprehensive. So now, Prahlado, what he says, divine service. What is the value of the service of the deity? That is, he says that it is through the service of the feet of the Lord that all beings, be they devas, asuras, men, yakshas, or gandharvas, attain to peace and happiness. Prahlada, the greatest bhakta, he says that this only if you serve the Lord, serve the feet of the Lord, but that means you focus your whole attention on the Lord. By that only you can attain peace and happiness, whether you be godly nature, that is the gods, devas, asuras, maybe of not very noble character, but demonic character. Or you may be ordinary human being, or you may be jaksha, one class of what you call one class of not people. They are not human. They are after death. They are
like ghosts.
Ghosts, but that ghosts will be they hold on to money and wealth. They're very. It is called that they are very jaksha. Jaksha is called holder of the wealth. So there is many stories that one gentleman was very fond of money, and he didn't use any penny for himself and curtail the money. But when he died, his mind focus was on the money, and money in the old days they used to keep in hidden under the ground or hiding. From the thieves come and steal away, so he was protecting. Then when he died, but his mind is in the protection of they are called the jaksas, they are holding on to protection of the wealth. But for whom, God knows. There are a category of people holding on to jaksas. And Gandharvas are the celestial musicians, dancer musicians, Gandharvas. They attain, even they, if they have love for God, they attain peace. This is our experience. Why he is saying? Is our means Prahlada. Prahlada is born in a Asura family. His father, his brother, they are all Asuras. Asura means they look like Asura, yeah, that may be, but more of the tendency, Asuric tendency. They don't think of God. They always say, I, me. Egocentric personality, proud of their own material pomp, uh, greatness like that. Rema or Lakshmi, the consort of Vishnu and the goddess of prosperity, is talking on the same way on this subject of Pada Seva. If you do service to God, then what happens? He says, Brahma and other devas, attracted by a desire for material gains, perform terrible austerities and penances for the attainment of me. Me means Mother Lakshmi. They say that Brahma and other devas attracted by desires, they want something material. And to gain that, they perform terrible austerities and doing that and penances. Penance is fasting. We say, fasting for days and days and days in the cold, not using clothing, bare-bodied, or in the heat, uh, all torturing the body. They are doing for what? Not for God realization. But they want, I'll be king, I'll be very famous, I'll attain this power, no one can control me, I'll be the king. Like that, this material desires. So he says, Brahma and other gods, they are attracted by their desires, with their desire to gain something material. They perform terrible austerities and penances for the attainment of me. Me means what? The mistress of all form of prosperity. I am Lakshmi. I am the goddess of prosperity. Prosperity in every sense, not money only. Fame, name, glory, position, power, like that. But, O Lord, unless they are devoted to thy feet, coming to me will not do. If they devote their love and their offering of respect goes to you, your feet, they cannot win my favor. Then I will not be pleased. If they have no love for Thakur, then Ma will say, I'm not uh, going to look at you. That means to get the blessings of Mother Lakshmi, they should have to faith in the Lord. And Mother Lakshmi herself telling, even they may be whatever in their life situation, that and my heart has been offered unto thee. And I also, Mother Lakshmi says, my heart has been offered at the feet of the Lord. That means she said, I have given my life and heart and soul to the Lord, and ye want my favor to become great in the world, then you have to devotion to my master also. Without you don't have that devotion there, you won't get my favor.
But why would Brahma, who's the creator, want any of these things besides
Brahma, why you become Brahma? You are full in your joy. Why you want to rule the country? I am the Brahma. I am the creator God. All will worship me.
So Brahma has those qualities?
Of course, otherwise only desire is there. Everyone is a Brahma. Brahma has everyone's mind. Any creativity is Brahma, no? And the cosmic creativity is called Brahma. All the whole creation has been coming out of Brahma. But Brahma, how? Tapusa, he did tremendous austerity and gained this power by grace of God. God means the absolute. And here they are saying Mahalakshmi giving that, but they are praying to Mahalakshmi, and Mahalakshmi says, you have to love my beloved Lord. So it is all dualistic language they are talking about. But true, if Brahma has to pray and crave from God,
what about us?
What about us? But his prayer is big prayer. Our prayer is tidbit. We are happy with uh, small, little desires being fulfilled. Brahma has to create the whole universe.
What about the Devas also?
Devas also. They are all Devas. Why you are Devas?
Gods and goddesses.
But gods, yeah, gods and goddesses, if they only, that's why human birth is much better than all gods and goddesses, because there is distraction and there is desire to be ruling, mastering the human, controlling the human personalities, no? Deva Indra, Chandra, Varuna, these are all gods of fire, gods of air, gods of the heat. So different energies in the body, they have a deity. The five senses, they have their deities. So they have one individual soul, developed soul, they desire bigger power. Indra is called the god of what? He says hand also. You say
Oh.
that cow, killing cow, and then he said, I didn't do, Indra did. Why Indra has come into the picture? Well, Indra is the god of my hand. He controls, he is the master of this hand. Yes, if you believe so, then you should have no ego then. Huh? So credit goes to Indra. Anything bad is done, then Indra. But only for good thing I did, my hand did. Another time Indra did, I will not do. That is the story we hear. So this says that the gods and goddesses, they are also having some desire, human quality. They are jealous, they fight with each other, all this. So only extremely pure gods and goddesses, they will be liberated. They don't like all this business.
But then if they're liberated, aren't they eternal, like here with us?
No, they are not eternal. They got that. It is a Lakshmi is the different, is a position. Like President of United States.
I see. Okay.
Anyone can compete and get the qualities and vote and all this support, then he is promoted to that.
Oh, that's cool. Okay.
That's why these positions are not eternal. If it is eternal, then who will go to Brahman?
Right.
Birthless, deathless in India, not to be born again. So that is the ultimate goal. But to reach that, it needs much renunciation. Greater renunciation is nothing I want. That's why Ramakrishna said, Ma, I do not know anything. I don't want anything. Let your wealth, prosperity, all this, give me devotion, give me love. I don't care for this. Huh? Don't delude me, mother, with thy world bewitching Maya. That is Ramakrishna every day teaches us how to pray. That is the point. But they are caught into their developed souls, but they are caught into that trap that I will be ruler. I will be this, staying for thousands of years. And we live for 100 years, they live for thousands and thousands of years. Long life, and I will be the master. I will see the fate of everybody. I will rule the country. The meaning.
But it's interesting, I'm sorry to interrupt, but it's interesting though that it mustn't be the ego that wants that position, because people are worshiping Krishna or Lakshmi, they're not worshiping whoever is holding that position. You know what I mean? That soul that has entered Lakshmi, they're worshiping the position.
That is power. They're worshiping the power.
Power.
And whose power? Ultimately it will go to the one power.
Yeah.
Brahman power.
Yeah.
But others, Ojay, Kena Upanishad, in my Sunday lecture we read that Kena Upanishad, it says the gods conquered the demons in a war, and then they thought that it is by their intelligence, their power, they have conquered. The fire god says, I conquered it by burning everyone. Air god says, I by sweeping everyone, by blasting them, by storm and hurricane and storm. Everyone is praising themselves. And then that appearance, mystic appearance, they saw. And then everyone went to find out who is that. He's overpowered. He said, ultimately mother appeared. And mother said, you do not know. You thought that you have conquered. It is not your power. It is the power of Brahman, the power of ultimate consciousness. It is that power has given you this strength, and with that power you killed it. So egocentric idea that I did it creates the trouble. When I goes away, then is the God's doing. So these gods, Gods, which is plural, these gods are different positions, can be achieved by human being. That's why gods become jealous and frightful when one does tremendous austerity. Why? They think, oh, he will probably dethrone me. He's my competitor. Huh?
Oh yeah, like Yama said something in the Kata Upanishad that was afraid he'd lose his job or something.
I
He
see.
didn't serve Nachiketa. Wasn't there something like
Yeah,
that?
the powerful people sometimes feel that way, that I may be I may lose my position. Huh? That's why they put more temptation. You see, in the lives of the great saints, they get temptation. They are leading a very pure life and going almost at the verge of their realization. These gods bring temptation to them. If they can digress them, then they are safe. But when they fail there, because he does not want any temptation, his mind has become pure, he only wants God. So they don't care for temptation, then they fail, they leave it. And then the soul can merge in the divine.
That's interesting.
Very interesting.
Yeah, it's like human beings have to resist alcohol and drugs to go forward. You can't have that alcohol and drugs and go into a spiritual life.
Well, and I always heard that whenever you're trying to do something very worthy or very good for the world or whatever, that all this opposition comes up right before it can happen, and it's like a test to see if you can get through it, because you have to really earn it.
And also, lover of God does not want anything. They don't want to get position. They don't want any power, position. They want to just love God and be tuned with God. That is more precious than that of the powers. So this is the attitude, and that attitude of purity comes from devotional practice or meditation or your karma yoga or whatever we do.
And then that also helps get the gods on our side, so that they're not mean to us or jealous of us or something.
They understand the intention of this guy is not to compete and fight with me, but he wants to. Sometimes they help us. They are in the different ways. We propitiate them, and they can help us to move towards that. That's why we say, "Oh Ma, please protect me, please guide me." No, we worship different aspects of Divine Mother, and ask their favor so that we can be promoted towards God. Note, the meaning seems to be that even when men take to the worship of various deities for worldly prosperity, they must remember that these deities are all aspects of the one supreme being without whom they have no power. Oh, that story, that is that you have conquered the entire asuras, not by your power, but by the power of Brahman, not Brahma, Brahman, the absolute. The supreme value of the Padaseva is described in Brahma's word. Brahma is saying about the glory of this Padaseva, the service. Some great sages merge their minds in thee, the home of all beings. You're in thee means you are the home of all, you are the abode of all, you are the shelter of all. So some great sages merge their minds in you, the home of all beings, through concentration and attain liberation. But there are others following the path of devotion, exemplified by great devotees like Narada. They use the service of your feet as the boat to cross the ocean of samsara with utmost ease, as if it were a puddle made by a calf's hoop. As we pray every day, that the samsara, the entire world, this world is nothing. It's like say hoop in the hoop print. Hoop print. How much water will gather in the hoop print? Samsara, the world, so much with trouble will appear like a hoop print for a devotee of God, and it is no thought that fear will come. How shall I cross it? No one is afraid to think that hoop print will be a point of big problem to step over. Understand the example. It is so tiny obstacle, It cannot create any obstacle for a real, genuine lover of God. So what he said, that the same realization which others can get by concentration, means yogic path, meditation and path, and others following the path of devotion can attain to the same state by serving God, by serving God. It is said in the Vedanta Shastras that liberation is obtained only through jnana or knowledge, generated by reflection on the great Vedic sentences Mahavakya, Aham Brahmasmi, I am that, thou art that. Then how is it stated here that by the Padaseva of the Lord, moksha can be obtained? The normal question will come. You have to identify yourself with that absolute. I am that. When you are identified with yourself as I am that, then only your liberation. Then how you are saying that you are serving the Lord's feet and offering food and drinks and putting him to bed, raising him from the bed, and then again decorating him whole day, putting incense, flowers, and all the time, whole day around serving the Lord. How you will attain? It's contradictory. So this duality. So it says that this is the answer on the fourth verse. O Lord, only those who have your grace obtain to the devotion to thy lotus feet, holy feet, can come to know the truth about your infinite greatness. By your grace. He is saying they can only attain by your grace. Not others who search for a long time and alone means through practice of yoga and philosophic reflection. It's a support of the bhaktas getting support, that those who have your grace, that means how your grace will come? Your grace comes by unconditional service to you. Because if anyone serves God with unconditional mind, only for the service sake, no expecting anything but love and devotion, like Sri Ramakrishna is the greatest example of these verses. He does not want anything of the world. Mother, I do not want anything. I do not want name. I do not want fame. I don't want any creature comfort. I am nothing, only give me love and devotion. Ma, and cried and wept, no? So that only by the grace of mother. And he was depending all through only mother's grace, crying and weeping. Obtained through devotion. How he got? By the devotion, showing us by the devotion to the holy feet. That means what Ramakrishna started with the doing the Mother Kali's puja, no? And he got so absorbed that time goes away. Who is around? He has no sense. That is the way the puja started at the beginning, no? And then get offering flower and putting the flower in the head. Many moments passed, an hour passed, and he comes to consciousness. He got so absorbed in the thinking of the divine. So there is so purity in the heart developed that he has no other concern. Oh, what is going on? Who is criticizing? Who is telling something about Ramakrishna? And how they are angry. They are going to the boss, Mathur Babu, Rani Rasmani, to complain against him that he is doing not the right type of puja as the orderly, because he is getting absorbed. Padaseva is Padaseva, getting more absorbed and absorbed and absorbed in it. Come to know the truth about your infinite greatness. Not others, he is saying not others, they can get it. Janati tattam Bhagavan mahimno nacho anno, not others. Ekopi chiram vichintyam, for a long time, and not others who search for a long time and alone in the path to practice of yoga and philosophic reflection. That means it is promoting devotion, not by the path of meditation, not by the path of jnana yoga, but by the devotion they attain to that. Note says, This is another assertion of the superiority of the path of devotion and divine grace to other types of spiritual discipline. Bhagavat maintains that to be fruitful, all forms of spiritual discipline must be based on devotion and surrender to the Supreme Being. It's true that you are following any path. If you have no devotion, then you cannot be a jnani. How will you be a jnani unless you have love for jnana, analysis, path of analysis? If you have no love for the ultimate truth, why you will meditate? If you have no love for God, the Absolute who resides in everyone, why will you do Karma Yoga? So, devotion is a prime factor, is the underlying factor for all types of discipline. It is only God's grace that can give illumination, not mere philosophic reflection of the jnani or introverted concentration of the yogi. By God's grace only, that's why it is said that you do your best, ultimately it is God's grace. Swami Turiyananda, he used to, was all the time talking about Atman, not the body, not the mind. At the later part, only compassion, God's grace, 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 grace. Why are you thinking there is Mother Divine? Give everything to her. She will take care. You read the letters of Swami Turiyananda.
Oh, they're wonderful.
Wonderful treasure, book of treasure. Surrendering everything. He's being who is talking, not that we ordinary people talking, okay, do that. That Turiyananda was born with the idea of I'm not the body, not the mind. No? And then that person, after practicing whole life of discipline, says it's grace. It is grace. No? So ultimately it is grace. Yes, that's why we feel frustrated. You do so much japa, meditation, practice, but ultimately you see nothing happening. So what do you say? You surrender. And that is the grace. Only by grace it happens. So devotion comes into the picture there. Okay? I shall quickly finish this. It is only grace that can give illumination, not mere philosophic reflection of the jnani or introverted concentration of a yogi. These can be successful only if they are supported by devotion and surrender to God, whose grace alone can ultimately uplift man from the pit of ignorance. Our ignorance of our real nature is not of our making. It must have been due to another will. That means cosmic will, no? That created the Maya for us. Huh? That will is God's. Whose will has created this attraction for the worldly thing? But it is the Mother Divine has done that. And the mother gives their toys to the babies. So God has created a veil, or in the mother form, we call the Divine Mother Mahamaya. That's why we are getting attracted to the world. So pray to Mother. If you understand that, then pray to Mother, Ma, please open thy door. That will is God's will. So His will or grace alone can remove ignorance. And man's duty is to pray to Him and surrender to Him.
Yeah, that was great.
Right. So our class is becoming, again, gradually it is turning into a big class. What is happening, I do not know.
Huh? I don't know what's going on with
Yes,
Mitra. She's
Huh?
I
Huh.
don't know what's
Okay.
going on with Mitra.
I know, I remember.
The dog died.
Yes,
Dog died?
Yeah.
Ah,
But I don't know if that's what's keeping her.
I think so.
Yeah, I
She
know.
wrote me
The
very
pennies